America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, it slays me. Good Monday morning, everyone. It just slays me already when we begin the show and we live stream this show on every social media platform. And it always just fascinates me. Go away, Joe. Go away already, Joe. All these wonderful comments I get from listeners when we begin a show. Like, imagine someone tuning into this show this Monday morning, tunes into the show, turns it on, wants to listen to me, and the first things out of their mouth are, go away, Joe, go away already. Like why are you tuning in? Why do you even want to listen to me? If that's what you've got to say. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Let's start this Monday and let's get right to it. And I want to make 3 points. I've got 3 takes. Take number 1 is this Monday morning. The Senate, the United States Senate today, will end their long marathon, their vote-a-rama marathon on Trump's big, ugly bill, and the Senate will vote on the big, ugly bill. And even though the vote in the Senate is going to be really, really, really close, I expect today, before today is out, the Senate is going to pass Donald Trump's big, ugly bill. They can only afford to lose 3 Republicans. They're going to lose 2, North Carolina Senator Republican Tom Tillis, Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul, going to vote against it. They can only afford to lose 1 more Republican. But I think they will probably do it because generally in this age of Trump, the Republican Party is a cult. It is a Trump adoring cult. And if you are a Republican and you want to keep your job, if you're a Republican and you want to keep your seat in the Senate or your seat in the House, you got to vote as Donald Trump wants you to vote. So I expect this bill to pass the Senate later today. It will go back to the House, and I expect the House, again, even though it could be really close, I expect the House sometime this shortened week because of the Independence Day holiday. I expect the House to pass Trump's big, ugly bill as well. And let's just be clear, and all of you who support this bill, be proud, be honest, but be proud about what it does and what it is. And this bill, this big, ugly bill, really in general, does 3 things, America. The big, ugly bill gives huge tax breaks to super wealthy Americans. That's number 1. It dramatically cuts health care and other social safety benefits, food assistance and the like, to tens of millions of lower income Americans. That's number 2. And this bill adds trillions and trillions to the debt. That's it. That's what this bill does. This bill that Trump loves, that's what this bill does. This bill that damn near every Republican will line up to support, that's what it does. Gives huge tax cuts to the wealthy it cuts health care and food assistance for the poor in America, and it adds trillions of dollars to our debt, anywhere from 4 to 6 trillion to our national debt. That's it. How's that a good thing? It's not a good thing. In fact, it's a very bad thing. In fact, here's the funny thing. Most Republicans who are going to vote for Trump's big, ugly bill, they know it's a bad thing. But they have no choice because they belong to a cult. And they can't do what they really want to do. They can't say what they really say, Republicans in the age of Trump, what they really believe is the right thing to say. They can't follow their principles. Can't do that. They got to line up because Trump wants it. It's so reminiscent of the whole period during Obamacare, when Democrats passed Obamacare back in 2009. Democrats passed Obamacare back in 2009, and the passing of Obamacare sent me to the United States Congress and a whole bunch of people like me. The passing of Obamacare back in 2009 led to a huge Republican wave in 2010, the Tea Party wave in 2010. And Democrats back then voted for Obamacare knowing it would hurt them politically. They knew it. Democrats knew passing Obamacare politically was going to bite them in the ass. And it did. Republicans, right now, all of these Republicans lining up to pass this big, ugly bill that, again, just to be really simple here, does three things: big tax cuts to the wealthy, cuts health care and food assistance for the poorest among us, working class Americans, the neediest among us, and this big, ugly bill adds trillions and trillions to our national debt. Most Republicans know that this is a bad bill and will hurt them politically. Here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. Even though back in 2009, most Democrats knew that passing Obamacare was going to hurt them politically, they believed it was the right thing to do. They believed in Obamacare. They believed in the Affordable Health Care Act. They believed it was the right thing. These Republicans today who are going to pass this big, ugly bill this week, they know this big, ugly bill is going to hurt them politically next year. And none of them believe it's a good bill. They all believe it's a bad bill. They're all doing something they don't want to do. You can disagree with Democrats back in 2009 and 2010, and back then I did. They believed Obamacare was the right thing to do. These Republicans today do not believe that this big, ugly bill is the right thing to do. They're just lining up. It's like they're all walking out on a plank. They know they're doing something that's going to lose them the House and maybe even the Senate, maybe even their jobs next year. And they don't even believe this is a good bill. And how could you? I mean, just on its face, guys, no matter where you are politically, how is it a good thing to pass a bill that only helps the really wealthy in this country, hurts the poor, the working class in this country, and adds $4, $5, $6 trillion to our debt? Like, it does all three of those things. How can anyone think that's a good thing? And by the way, last point on this big, ugly bill. Everybody should have put it to bed a long time ago. I certainly did a long time ago. That Republicans don't give a damn about the debt, right? Like, that by now, correct? MAGA, that. Trump doesn't give a damn about the debt. Republicans don't care about the debt. Like this whole notion that the Tea Party led to MAGA. And in many ways, the Tea Party from which I come, the Tea Party did lead to MAGA, TikTok. But the Tea Party cared about the debt. I cared about the debt. That's why I was Tea Party. That's why I ran for Congress to begin with. MAGA doesn't give a damn about the debt. But you knew that, right? Trump doesn't give a damn about the debt. Trump, in his first term, in his first 4 years, added more to our national debt in 4 years than any other president in American history. Trump's the king of debt. Trump doesn't care about that. And this bill they're going to pass this week, that adds trillions to our debt. For anybody paying attention, it should put to death, again, one final time, the Republican Party. They don't care about the debt. Look at how that's changed. Before Trump, the debt, the bankrupting of future generations, all of this debt that we were saddling our kids and our grandkids with. Remember that? Man, I remember giving campaign speeches left and right about that. How dare we? This is criminal of us, bankrupting our kids and our grandkids. How dare we do this? I would say that in every town hall I held back in the day. Republicans haven't cared about that. Gosh, going on 8-9 years now. They don't care about the debt. And if you like this bill, you don't care about the debt. If you support Trump, you don't give a damn about the debt. And this big, ugly bill proves it. Hey, North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis. Did you see what he said yesterday? North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, who over the weekend, he's a Republican, he came out against the big ugly bill. And the minute Tom Tillis came out against the big ugly bill, you know what happened. The cult leader, the dear leader, Donald Trump, came out against Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis is running for re-election in North Carolina next year. North Carolina is a swing state, a purple state, a really important state. So Tom Tillis, in the first procedural vote over the weekend, votes against advancing the big ugly bill. Donald Trump, that big old baby in the White House, he gets really angry and he says, we got to primary Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis came out yesterday and said, forget about it. I'm out of here. I'm no longer going to run for re-election. I'm no longer running for re-election. Sitting Republican Senator, North Carolina, Tom Tillis, said he will step down after his term next year. He's not going to run for re-election because Donald Trump opposes him, and he knows he can't win a Republican primary if Trump opposes him. So Tom Tillis, a little bit of political courage here. And every time we see a little green shoot of political courage from Republicans, we got to cheer it on because there is a dearth of political coverage, right, among Republicans. There has been a dearth of political courage among Republicans in this era of Trump. Look, it takes political courage to do what Tom Tillis did. To say that you are going to do the right thing, even though you know it's going to cost you politically. Tom Tillis knows this is a bad bill. He said as much. He said it's a bill that's going to hurt the rural voters in his state of North Carolina. Tom Tillis said this big, ugly bill is going to decimate rural hospitals in the state of North Carolina. Tom Tillis said this bill that's going to cut Medicaid for 10 to 15 million Americans is a bad bill, and he will not support it. He said all of that and opposed Trump's big, ugly bill, knowing that it would kill him politically. And it has. He can't run for re-election. He couldn't win a Republican primary. So good on Tom Tillis for doing the right thing. But Tillis said something really interesting in his statement yesterday, announcing his not stepping down, announcing that he's not going to run for re-election. Thanks, Keith. Tillis said, I look forward now, TikTok. Tom Tillis said, I look forward now that I've announced I'm not running for re-election, I look forward now to having the pure freedom to call the balls and the strikes as I see fit. That's what Tom Tillis said yesterday, announcing he won't run again. I now have the freedom to do the right thing. I now have the freedom, Tillis said, to vote my conscience. I now have the freedom to call balls and strikes now that I don't have to worry about getting reelected. I read that from Tillis, and I said to myself, excuse me, Tom Tillis, isn't that your job? Aren't you supposed to do that regardless? Call balls and strikes no matter what? Vote on the right thing no matter what? Vote for a bill if you think it's a good thing. Vote against it if you think it's a bad thing, no matter what. Speak the truth no matter what. Call out a bill if it's a shit sandwich. Call it out as a shit sandwich. Call the balls and strikes. Isn't that your job as a member of Congress, no matter what? What an odd thing for Tillis to say, that now that he doesn't have to worry about how a vote will impact his political life. Like he no longer has to worry about getting reelected. He can finally do the right thing, what he thinks is the right thing. My God, man, isn't that what you're supposed to do as a member of Congress, no matter what? What an amazing revelation by Tillis. And I know, right, he's a politician, and all politicians are afraid to do the right thing, and all politicians weigh, right, what they do, right, based on whether it will help get them reelected. But there's Tillis just nakedly announcing it in public. Okay, now I'm free. I'm liberated now to do what I think is right. Isn't that what we want out of our representatives? All the time, to do what they think is right. What a condemnation Tillis's statement is, TikTok, of our politics. What an open admission of how fucked up our representation is. Revealing, Tillis did, that our representatives don't call balls and strikes. They don't vote their conscience. They don't do what they think is the right thing to do. They do what they think will help them politically. Amazing. It's an amazing thing to say out loud. Hey, final point I want to make this Monday. Look, I'm a Democrat. I've been a Democrat about a month now. I'm a Democrat that loves capitalism. I'm a Democrat that adores capitalism. I'm a Democrat that loves the free market. I'm a Democrat that knows and believes that capitalism has delivered more people from poverty around the world historically than any other ism. And it ain't even close. Capitalism, the freedom to grow, the freedom to create, the freedom to sell, the freedom to make it big, the freedom to start a small business, the freedom to make a shitload of money, the freedom to produce things that people want, the freedom to create jobs. Capitalism, even with all of its flaws, man, is the greatest economic system on this planet. I'm a Democrat who adores capitalism, which is why I'm a Democrat who adores freedom, which is why I found so problematic what Democratic nominee for New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani said yesterday on Meet the Press. I want to make sure we got it, Keith. I want to make sure I heard it right. There it is. Zoran Mamdani, thank you, my friend. Thanks, Keith. Said yesterday on Meet the Press, he doesn't think billionaires should exist. He does not think we should have billionaires. Stop. Just stop. Keep that up for a minute, Keith. TikTok. The Democratic nominee for mayor of New York City said yesterday, when asked, should billionaires even exist? Mamdani said, no, we shouldn't have billionaires. He doesn't think we should have billionaires. I listened to that. And my first instant gut reaction was, well, then you don't believe in freedom. Zoran Mamdani, respectfully, my fellow Democrat, I get that you are a democratic socialist, but if you say something like that, I don't think billionaires should exist. To say something like that means you don't believe in freedom. Plain and simple. Because in a free society, people should be free to try to be as successful and wealthy as they want to be. It's called freedom. And I don't even need to, I don't even want to get into the debate of the value that multimillionaires and billionaires in a free market society add and give to people all throughout society, in the jobs they create, in the products they produce, in the way they impact all of our lives. I'm not a fan of Jeff Bezos personally. I don't know him. And the dude just spent, what, $100 million on his wedding. That's gross, but I could give a damn. But that's like peanuts to him. But man, Jeff Bezos and Amazon, you cannot deny all that Amazon has done for our economy, for our society, for every American in this country. I don't need to or want to even go down that road and defend multimillionaires and billionaires who've done a lot of good. I just stop right here. If you believe in freedom, you cannot say billionaires shouldn't exist. Because part of living in a free society is giving people the freedom to be as damn wealthy as they can be. Now, you want to have an argument about, or a debate about, or a discussion about how we tax billionaires in this country? That's fine. What the tax rates should be on multimillionaires and billionaires in this country, that kind of debate is fine. But don't tell me billionaires should not exist. They should not be like I don't even want government. That's an issue, a question I don't even want government weighing in on. That's like saying we shouldn't have super successful private companies. in this country. To say that there should be no billionaires, they shouldn't exist, that is anathema to freedom. And I know a lot of my Democratic friends and a lot of folks on the left say, but Joe, here's what Mamdani meant, that we shouldn't have billionaires because we should take so much of their money that they're no longer billionaires. He didn't say that. I disagree with that, but he didn't say that. He was asked a direct question: should billionaires even exist in this society? And he said, no, we should not have billionaires. And I'm telling you, that's a horrible thing to say. It's an anti-freedom thing to say. Politically, it's a stupid thing to say, because one of the cool things about America historically, and I wish the left better understood this, I wish Mamdani better understood this. One of the coolest things about America is Americans generally don't resent the wealthy. There's not as much class envy or as much class warfare in America as there is in other industrialized countries, in other European countries. Because in America, we always, and this is borne out by the polling that's been done on this issue for years. Generally in America, compared to every other country in Europe, every other industrialized country, Americans are much more resistant to like really raising taxes on the wealthy, because Americans want to be wealthy. Like there's an American thing here that I think is really cool, and it's always borne out by the polls, right? They are much more hesitant to take away, raise taxes on the wealthy in this country compared to other countries, because they want to be wealthy. There's this feeling in America that the American thing is, I can be Jeff Bezos. I could be like that one day. So I don't want to do anything to make it harder to be that way. I don't want to take away their money. That's a really good thing. Not as much class envy in America. That's a good thing. And again, if you're a good, committed progressive and income inequality really bothers you, like we know it really bothers Mamdani, then let's have a debate on taxation, on how much we should tax the super wealthy in this country, if you want to try to do something about income inequality. Again, I'll disagree with you, but I'll have that debate, that discussion. But in a free society, there's no debate about whether billionaires should even exist. Hell yes, they should exist. The freedom to be, because the freedom to be, whatever you want to try to be, has got to always exist in this country. To say that billionaires shouldn't exist is just anathema to freedom. And respectfully, this is the kind of shit that's going to hurt Democrats, because Mamdani said a bunch of other stuff that Democrats are going to grab. Like I saw this morning when I woke up, there's an old clip of Mamdani's from a few years ago, an old clip. He's only 33 years old, where he said what we got to do is we got to go after the means of production. Government's got to go after the means of production. Well, that's kind of scary shit too. It's an important debate. And I'm glad the Democratic Party, of which I am a part, is big enough and broad enough to have this debate. But hell no, I believe in freedom. I believe in freedom. I want to live in a country where you are free to try to be what you can be, no matter what you want to be. to try to be a billionaire. I don't want to take that away. Boom. No, in America, billionaires will never exist. Fuck no. I don't want to take away that freedom of somebody to try to be a billionaire. Go ahead and take as much of their money as you want, but don't you dare take away the freedom of someone to try to be a billionaire. That's enough for today. Let's make this a very, very good week. You can tell I'm on the road, kind of a crappy shot. I'm in a hotel room right now. I'll make it a little better tomorrow. Want to shoot me an email? Shoot me an email about anything. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. There it is. One word. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. Let's make it a good week. Thanks, everybody. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.